it's your girl, the Swaggy Bum. Welcome back to my channel. It is Freestyle Friday on the channel, so you know I have a great show for you guys. Today I have a friend here with me. Obviously, you sit right next to me. Introduce yourself.
My name is Anthony Blaine. I work at TD Bank in Bedford Stuyvesant, and I've been doing banking for probably about like 10 years.
Great. And what do you do at TD Bank?
I do investment banking currently.
So today we're going to be talking about finance and how to save those coins in 2020, but also invest those coins in 2020 because I'm your style guy for doing a lot with a little. We don't got a lot of coins, but we need to have a lot of coins in the future. You feel me?
Yes, indeed.
All
yes,
right.
Indeed.
All right, so let's get started a little bit on your history. I know you said that you've been banking for 10 years,
Yes.
but how did you go about getting into investment banking, or was this something that you've been doing for 10 years?
Well, ironically, I just was trying to pay off college and landed off a job. Landed off a gig at Chase Bank, actually, as a teller. And I lasted about 6 months there, realized that this was something that I was really passionate about doing. My management seeing growth and potential in me, and actually took a leap of faith and promoted me to a universal banker at the time, which is more so someone that just opened up accounts, savings accounts, and actually try to outsource a profitable business. So once that took the ground, I ran with it, and I was actually doing really well, top performer for several years now. So yeah, and then I just landed in investment banking.
That's great. So first of all, shout out to management for believing in you because we know that's not normal. So, okay, let's get into a little bit about saving.
Okay.
I know that people think like saving, they need to be making like a gazillion dollars a year to be able to save something because they have so many bills and so much debt and yada yada yada. But what would you say is a good practice for saving, even if you were making like minimum wage?
It's a misconception about you having to have a lot of money in order to save.
Completely.
You can start off with just budgeting, having a financial budget about what do you basically spend your money on within a month, and if that requires you just reviewing your monthly statements for whatever institutions that you do bank with, you can actually see patterns in what you're looking and what you're actually spending your money on. And if you can actually set aside a goal, let's say if it's just like $50 a week that you're looking to save, you can maximize that potential by at least saving it. There's four weeks in a month. So with that being said, if you were to put aside $50, that's $200 within that month.
Yes, and that means like, so some ways to cut corners is like cooking at home, not buying the coffee, like, so things like that I would say is the best way to go about saving money. I love what you said about looking at your bank statement and seeing what you spend the most money on. I used to write down everything that I spend my money on, and then at the end I would tally it up and see like how much money like in that week I spent on the item or whatever, and I realized I was spending so much money on Ubers.
Oh yeah, forget about it. Yes.
And it's like quick because it's like you get in, you get out, there's no money transaction in front of you, so you feel like you're not really doing anything, you feel like you're not spending as much. And then when I was looking at my statements, I was like, girl, you spent $50 this week on an Uber, plus you're paying MTA $127.50 for your Metro card?
Yep.
Are you crazy?
And those are the little frivolous things that we don't notice, like the Netflix and the Hulu that are just automatically coming out of our accounts. And what we're not realizing is when we're budgeting and we're setting aside a budget for ourselves, are we even including those frivolous things like the brunch on the weekends or the Netflix each month and things of that nature?
That's
so we gotta
true.
be very mindful and very disciplined in regards to if we set aside a specific dollar amount that is like our non-negotiable.
Yeah, so that's funny that you say that because when I did write down everything that I spent, which I really need to get back to doing that, but when I did, I never counted like my gym membership. I never counted like my Netflix account. Anything that was like monthly that I just put on a credit card and pay like whenever the credit card comes, I never thought to count it because I was just like, like, it's only $8. Like, you know, yes. Like, and to me, those are non-negotiable things. Like my gym membership, non-negotiable.
Gotcha.
I'm paying that. I don't care if I don't got a job. I'm gonna find my way to pay my $20 a month. So some things I think are non-negotiable, but I think in the grand scheme of things, when you look at your account, you're supposed to be like, all right, like I really spent $75 on lunch this week. Like that's a little obnoxious. So I think that's a great tip.
Definitely.
Okay, so now we know, like, okay, saving, you definitely have to budget. I think that's totally important. But I think there's techniques to saving. So let's think about like the saving rules that they usually give people. 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% savings. Would you say for someone that was making like minimum wage, is that a good rule to practice? Or do you think like, all right, maybe not, like that's probably not going to work for you?
Yeah, I heard of that rule, and I feel like that rule only applies to specific people. You know, we as individuals, we all have different saving techniques, and for the practical person that wants to go ahead and, you know, maximize the potentials by breaking up their monthly paychecks by 50%, 30%, and 20%, that may be suffice for that particular individual. But someone like myself, where it's more so like I need to understand that my bills are going to come out this portion, my frivolous activities, my extracurricular activities will come out in this budget, and everything that I'm doing on the side will come out, including my savings. So in that aspect, I don't feel like that technique would be suffice for me, but it can be suffice for somebody, you know, within that realm of how they want to save or maximize the potentials.
Would you suggest that technique for someone who's just starting out and like learning how to save?
Definitely. For the person that's just starting out savings, I do feel like that is an amazing start. But you don't want to wrap your mind up too much into it, because it may throw you off when that unexpected expense just happens. And that's what I want people to account for. We can all say, you know, let's put 50 aside for this, 30 aside for this, and 20 aside for this. But life happens. And we always have to budget for that unnecessary or that event that just may pass.
So I like that. I like what you're saying about, you know, unexpected occurrences. Now, I've heard of people having multiple savings accounts. Me personally, I do have a problem with having multiple savings accounts, and then at the end of the month I'm like, where's all my money? Like, I have no money. I have no money for fun. I have no money. Like, I don't take out any money for fun. To me, my money is like bills, savings. And then I find myself like, okay, well then you could take a little bit out the savings account because you didn't account for fun this month, and you want to have fun. Like, you gotta live your life, Jen. And so I would ask, is there a certain amount of savings account you should have? Like, definitely have these 3 or these 2 savings account, and what would they be?
Well, you can, you know, it all depends again on the individual. There's some people that just have like their money market savings account where they know that they just want to allow that money to grow. Depending on how much money is in that account, the more interest that they can actually potentially gain. Then there's other people that just like to just literally just diversify their portfolio, so they just know that they have a savings for the home, they have a savings for the vacation, they have a savings for the family. So that technique would actually work for you, and also with the multiple savings account. But all in all, you know, with putting money in a savings account, it's always the best idea to put your money in the best savings account that's going to actually give you the best rate of return. Because the entire idea of a savings account is money that you're going to be parked aside and that you're looking to grow. So I feel like one of the first things that we must think about is, what exactly are we saving for? A lot of people just want to save money but don't know what they're saving money for. I feel like one of the best practices is to understand what you're trying to save your money for. And that will actually give you the driving force to, you know what, I don't need to go to brunch this weekend. I'm going to make some breakfast at home. So I feel like that's definitely a start. But yeah.
But you said something. You said the different kind of savings accounts and knowing where to put your money.
Correct.
So I know you said something about a mutual fund. Okay, let's talk a little bit about different type of accounts that you guys have where people can put money in and see like some type of interest.
Oh yeah.
Because
definitely.
I used to have a savings account with like a regular bank. We won't say the bank. And the interest would be like 0.0001. And then like it would be like, oh, this month you had an interest saving of 12 cents. And I'm like,
true story.
Yeah, like what is this doing for me? Why am I banking with you? I'm not getting anything out of this except for 12 cents a month. It's not even a full dollar. Like, give me at least $1. I don't understand. So, what kind of accounts can people open up to get some interest and put some money? And I think that can also be like a good driving force. Like, ooh, I saw I got interest of $24.
Yes.
You know, it makes you want to save a little bit more.
I feel like that's actually a great point. A lot of our people, we don't know that there's online banks. And online banks is actually one of the best routes to go because they'll definitely be offering the highest rates. So starting like with our most conservative type of product, which is like the basic savings account. That particular account will give you the 0.003%, especially with the way that the economy is going as well. So you can easily start off with that standpoint. Following that is money market accounts. So money markets is actually accounts that are governed by the government. So depending on how well the stock market does, so is the money market. If you want to take it a tier higher, we have CDs. So those are certificate of deposit. So those work a little bit differently. Those are, you park the money for a particular term. And you'll be promised an interest rate. Those rates are typically higher than the money markets and the savings accounts because those type of accounts you can just dip into it whenever you want in case of an emergency. As opposed to a CD is like if you lock it for 2 months, that's it.
So you said you're guaranteed the interest rate. Does that mean that no matter what's going on in the market, what's going on in the world, the stock industry, the whatever, the banking, if we have a recession, it don't matter. I'm still gonna get my 20%.
Exactly.
I want my money on time.
And that's the benefit of a CD because it gives you the peace of mind. So,
that's pretty cool. I haven't opened any CDs yet. I actually heard a lot of negative things about CDs as of lately. I just heard that like
the rates are really
the rates are really low. It's not worth it. You could save like 3 times the amount that you put in by the time you put it in. So I haven't really been as invested to try a CD.
That makes sense.
But I think that it's good for someone who's younger, like, a college student, then you put something in there and then like 4 years later you know that it's there, so you don't like waste all your money like I did. And or like if you want to own a home and you want to buy your home in like 10 years and then you put money in and like something like that, I think is like the best option, right?
We have other options. There's mutual funds, there's bonds. Those are also very conservative investment accounts that'll give you a higher, they yield higher than the typical savings account or the money market account. These accounts are invested, but they are very safe investments that will guarantee your principal. So you don't even have to worry about losing money in case you hear we have a recession or any political powers and things of that nature. So there's definitely different avenues that you can go to in regards to saving money and making sure you get a highest rate of return.
All right. And last question on saving. How do we feel about saving challenges? Like,
I love them.
I see some of them like save $50 a week, save $200 a week, and then it like goes up and up every week. Like, and then the next week you save another $300, and I'm like, if I had $300 to save every week, sweetie, I wouldn't be looking at your challenge. Like,
I think that's honestly what I don't think anyone actually accomplishes the actual.
I would be very surprised if they do. Like, where you work at? Are they hiring? I won't be a stylist.
But I love what they stand for because it gives you a layout or a principle to follow. And some are a little bit far-fetched, but if you keep it practical, I feel like those are very, very much positive in regards to showing you how to earn your money. You'll be surprised, saving $20 a week will get you at the end of the year. Something as little as that. So if we can set our minds to it and be disciplined and stay disciplined with that, you'll be surprised how much money you can save.
I want to dive into investing a little bit because you are an investment banker. So let's talk a little bit about investing. For me, investing was very scary because I was like, first of all, you ain't got no consistent money coming in no more, sis. Like, you're a freelancer. What you about to invest in? You need to invest in yourself, okay? You need to be paying off yourself, which I think is very important.
Yes.
But I think it's equally important to like start buying stocks and shares and creating a portfolio. And I think it's the thing that people don't talk about, or like people are very secretive with. It's like, I'm not telling them what I bought my stocks in. Like, sis, I need you to tell me, because the more people that buy, the more it grows. Like, duh. So let's talk a little bit about investing. What would you say is a easy way to get into investing? Like, beginner's guide. I don't know a lot. I don't got a lot of money, but I want to invest. How would you say a person go about that?
Well, definitely. I feel like that's actually could be a savings objective. You know, trying to save up or round up about $1,500, because that's pretty much the minimum when you're looking to invest.
Yeah.
So you can use that as a savings guide. Try to save up $1,500. And what I would recommend is using what's called the TD Ameritrade platform. And I'm not saying that because I work there, but I honestly feel that they offer the best education tool for a beginner investment starter. So I feel like it actually dives in very intricate details on how to start saving and how to start investing and what are the best practices in doing so. And it gives you one-on-one step-by-step tips.
That's really
so
cool.
How to trade, how to hold, how to sell. But I feel like one of the first things to do is to save up that whole number. If you can save up that $1,500, and you know, there's so much platforms. We have Ameritrade, we have E-Trade, we have Fidelity, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
And you know, you can set it up and literally diversify those in mutual bonds. Those are very safe. Those are very conservative. You don't have to worry about losing the $1,500 that you're actually investing.
I like that.
Yes.
So how do you feel about acorns? Because I know a lot of people like salute acorns.
Yes.
I'm not totally against it. I have tried it and I just didn't feel like it worked for me. I don't know, like I couldn't really get the gist of it, because I'm like, all right, I spent money, do I gotta invest it? Like, and then they would send you emails like, Target wants to invest in you. I'm like, all right, what I gotta do? And then they're like, but you have to spend $1,500. And I'm like, Target, if I have $1,500, I wouldn't need you to invest in me. You know what I'm saying? So what do you feel about apps like Acorn that say that they're here to help the average person invest, but, you know, do things like that to little old me?
No, I actually appreciate Acorn because it is another trading platform that's given to the consumers totally for free.
Yeah,
and
that
much,
I do like.
Yes, and pretty much giving you the tips on actually how to save. What I love about Acorn is that they just developed a new program where let's say you make a purchase, an online purchase or a point of sale purchase, the change would actually go into a bucket in Acorn and actually invest and diversify your money. So let's say you bought something for $20.93. The 93 cents goes into an investment bucket and starts to diversify your portfolio for you. That's actually a great tip on Acorns, and shout outs to Acorns for that. Yeah, it's definitely dope. But you know, the catch-20 about those type of apps or investments in general, it's pretty much you got to do your research.
Yeah.
And you know, it'll be all good and dandy if you knew the next, you know, flu vaccine that was going to come out, and that you can just dump a whole bunch of your monies into a pretty much low earning share, and that miraculously blows up. You know, there's times that actually does work out. Yeah. Where you'll see the benefit of investing and how sweet it is, but not everything is as good as that. So I mean, what I would recommend is that any stocks that you're looking for, let's say you're in you love the environment. Yeah. And you want to invest in a stock or a science stock or a pharmaceutical stock, do your research on that. See what's out there. See what's publicly traded. See how, you know, the buying power of it. If it's something that's at $1, and then you know over the course of 3 months that dollar is going to increase to like $5. If you put a substantial amount of money when it was $1 and it blows up to about $5, that's a lot of buying power that you do have.
That's true.
And that's what I do like and appreciate about Acorn and about Robinhood.
I've never heard of Robinhood.
Robinhood is another free app. It's an amazing investment app. It gives you the ability to trade and hold stocks. So you can buy Facebook stock on there, Twitter stock. The list goes on.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Definitely check it out.
I've never heard of that one.
On top of all of those and type of investments in that I just mentioned, there's other types of ways that you can actually invest.
Okay.
We have, what about those sole proprietors or those entrepreneurs?
That's me,
There you go.
How I invest?
Investing in yourself. That is honestly probably one of the best savings tools. If you know that you have a passion and an eye for something, let's say if your niche is hair, your niche is makeup, and you're looking to have an ownership of a beauty salon store, just that thought and that mindset that you'll put yourself will allow you to have that discipline so that you would invest all of the monies or all of the excess amount of monies into yourself. To one day have your ownership of your salon, have your ownership of your own company. Other ways of investing is investing in other people, investing in other companies. There's, I know we all are familiar with the S&P 500, and that's investing. And for those that don't, the S&P 500 is actually the top 500 companies in the United States of America. So if you're looking to invest, if you're looking to invest in secure products like Apple's or the Amazons or the Microsofts, these are companies that's actually publicly traded that you can actually invest your funds and your monies to actually get a higher rate of return as well. Those investments work yearly, so from the beginning of when you start that investment to literally the last day within a 365-day period, we'll take a screenshot of where the company was. Let's say, for example, you invested in Facebook. We'll see where Facebook is literally right now, and then 365 days from the first day that you initially saved. And if it's on the up, then all the blessings and things to you.
And what about investing? I mean, I also want to say, like, invest in people around you. Like, I think so many times we think of, like, the bigger corporations, like Mac and Microsoft. They're great, but they all had to start from the bottom too. And where would they be if there was no one that invested in them? So if you have a friend who has a great idea and you really believe in them, and they're a driven person and they have like the greatest idea, and you're like, like, invest in them, help them financially, help them promote their business, help them to connect and meet people in any which way. I think all those ways of like networking, advertising, those are all ways to invest in yourself and invest in other people. And I think sometimes people think it's like investing just only is financial, but just keep that in mind. Like, speak to your friends and see what they're doing. All right, so we can talk about saving and investing and all of these beautiful things that's gonna make us money, but we need to get down to the root of the situation. Your credit score.
Ooh, you hit it.
Because you can have all these credit cards and not be paying them, but like also trying to invest and have all this money saved, but what's the point if
the credit is shot?
Like if you have $10,000 on a credit card and you have $20,000 in your savings account, like $10,000 in debt on a credit card and $20,000 in your savings account, really you only got $10,000 in your savings account because you should be paying your credit card.
Say a lot for people in the back.
So let's talk a little bit about credit scores, because I really feel like people undermine the importance of credit scores. And tell me a little bit about the breakdown of a credit score, because I think when people understand the breakdown, it kind of makes them think smarter with their money.
Definitely. Credit is, you hit it right on the top. Credit is definitely super important, especially in this society. We live in a capitalist society, and honestly, credit is what is going to get you beyond a certain point of your limitation.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you can have all the money and all the riches in the world, but if your credit is shot, so is everything that you try to apply for. But with that being said, our credit is definitely important, and there's three major facts that's super important when we're talking about credit score, and that is your utilization. That is your credit history, and that is also, and when I mean credit history, is how often and how on time have you been making these payments.
Okay.
And I did mention utilization and the length of your credit. So that is totally important. Those three components. The utilization is your buying power. So let's say you have $10,000 worth in credit. Your utilization by a best practice would be don't utilize more than 30% of your entire credit limit. So if we're talking about $10,000, you should not exceed your utilization of $3,000.
Got it.
That will, if you exceed it, that will negatively affect your credit score. Another thing that would negatively affect it if you're not paying your payments on time. That is huge.
I want my money on time. That's the credit cards companies talking to us with our what's the minimum balance?
Yes, that's exactly what they're talking about. At least pay that. You'll be on time. You'll be good. And the last one is let's say you have an amazing credit score. Your credit score is 850. And your utilization is free. You have 100% utilization, but you've literally only had one credit card for about 6 months. You're looking to purchase that home, or you're looking to purchase that vehicle. The credit bureaus or the agencies are going to look at you and say that you're unexperienced. Although you do have great credit and you do have a high utilization, it's still in the eyes of the credit bureaus that we won't necessarily trust you to get a home or a car because you've only shown that for about 6 months. So the credit history and the longevity of when you've established credit is extremely important in this entire formula.
So maybe it is a good idea to go to college and get that credit card. Just don't buy the shoes, man.
Yes.
That was me. Just don't buy the shoes.
Oh, you were the shoes.
I was the shoes. If you went into my dorm, it was like stacked.
Oh man.
I was living a life, child. I was living
How's that
a life.
utilization?
In college, that's a whole different story. I didn't even know what utilization was with a credit card. Okay?
Yes,
now I'm down. Sis is
there you go.
Responsible.
That's where it's
at.
That's
So let's talk about ways to build your credit score without a credit card, because I know a lot of people, they're really scared of that C word. They're like, I don't need no credit card. I could build my credit another way, but I feel like it's really hard to do that. But I'm sure there are ways to do it. So let's talk a little bit about how you can build your credit.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny you mentioned that. I was just sitting down with a college student with no credit history whatsoever. And was looking to actually get a credit card. But because there's no credit history, it was very hard to establish credit for this individual. So what we have and what the banks have incorporated is what's called secure credit cards. And the way that works is it's a specific program designed to help people who have horrible credit to obtain good credit, or people with no credit to start establishing credit. And pretty much, in layman terms, it's just more so you are using your own money as collateral. So for example, you would be giving me $500 of your own money. And in exchange, what I will do is I will hold it and secure it in a savings account.
Keep it tight.
Yep, and I will freeze it so you have nothing to worry about. I'm not taking it. In exchange, I will give you a credit card for $500. What the banks and the creditors are looking at is to make sure that we want to see you use that credit card. We want to see you spend your own money because we want to monitor how you're paying yourself back. And if you're paying yourself back in a timely fashion, if you're paying yourself back, if you're utilizing the card and paying it back, you're building trust with the bank, you're building trust with the creditors, and you're actually establishing credit as you're doing all that entire process. So the way that you pay yourself back is what allows the bank to say, you know what, now after, let's say, give or take a year, they'll be like, okay, Jen, we've noticed that you've been cashing out, flying out, and you've been honestly paying yourself.
Okay.
There you go.
Nah.
And you've been paying back in a timely fashion. And so with that being said, we're going to graduate you into a new credit card. And we're going to give you back your $500 in collateral. And there you have it. You have now established credit. Or if you were that individual that had poor credit, you have now met the new standards of somebody with good credit or very good. Yes.
All right, Anthony, thank you so much for dropping some knowledge on us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I had a good time.
Fun. Oh, I'm so excited. You guys, you know, all right, I'm giving you guys some useful information. I done took time from this man's life. He got real life clients, okay? And he came to talk to us. He came to talk to you. So please do not take it for granted. Really look into how you can invest, how you can save, how you can stack your coins in 2020, because we're not trying to just be broke and cute. We're trying to be cute and rich.
That's
okay?
It's all about generational wealth.
Yes. Anthony, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at TD Bank in Bedford Stuyvesant. Offer free consultations so we can have a financial review, financial planning, depending on your needs and your wants, whether it's short-term goals, long-term goals. That's where you guys can catch me, definitely.
Okay, go see this man if you in the NYC region, and all y'all people that's moving to Brooklyn, especially Bed-Stuy, like he's right there.
Yes,
he's right there for you.
Heart of Brooklyn.
Thank you, Anthony.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Oh, so great.